For the first time this year, there's some movement in the top 3 online news rankings, and smh.com.au has taken top place. This is according to the results released this week by Nielsen. We're with James Manning from Mediaweek. James Manning, there was quite a bit of good news for some publishers in there as well.
Yeah, there was Fairfax Media in particular, smh.com.au, back up at number 1, 6% growth in the month of May for their visitors to their sites. News.com.au dropped down to number 2, but it's still number 1 in terms of time spent on the site. So they've got to be happy with that, and probably their advertisers are too, or partners.
Yeah, that's right.
9 MSN, ABC News and Yahoo 7 filled out the rest of the top 5. One interesting stat I picked up out of all that, 26% of all mobile usage when they're online is looking at news and entertainment. News and information sites. Number 1, of course, social media.
Yeah, of course, which you can find a lot of news on social media as well.
You can.
The slanging match between the Australian and the Mail Online goes international this week.
Yeah, it has. It was picked up by the English media, of course. People over there, you know, who are competitors of Mail Online, they jump on any angle they can to write up about their opposition, and that story got a bit of mileage. Channel 7 got a little involved too. They sent a legal letter to Mail Online, apparently warning them off about, you know, lifting content. They think, you know, they might be stepping over the line, which of course started this blue in the first place between News Corp and the Mail Online. And Darren Davidson, the writer from The Australian, who's on the channel, I think, on Monday mornings, talking about the media sector. He's over at Cannes at the media festival over there. He was uninvited to a Mail Online event. So he was on at a boat moored in the harbour there, and they wouldn't let him on.
I sense
so then
his
he wrote a story about how lots of people boycotted the event anyway.
From his dodgy hotel room. Shame. But yeah, no, that was certainly made some big headlines as well. Now, some new sports rights deals this week. So Seven signs a new NFL and some motor racing deals as well, and also ESPN reviewing its NRL deal.
Yeah, look, Seven in particular is really active, and I mean, they're minor sports, if you like, with all due respect to the NFL, which is probably the world's biggest football code. But here it's not a massive deal. Bathurst 12-hour event, again, it hasn't been a massive event, and it's never been broadcast in its entirety on free-to-air. So Seven is going to do that. They'll flick it between 7 and 7 mate, but across the whole 12 hours, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the NFL deal's interesting. ESPN's now going to be sharing rights with 7. 10 used to have it in this market. Both broadcasters will, I think, broadcast 3 live games every Sunday, which go to air Monday mornings, of course. So yeah, interesting. And 7's going to be selling the NFL.com.au website here, so they're acting as their sales agent. So, you know, they're getting quite a good relationship with them.
Okay, let's have a look at some of the TV ratings for this is week 24. Let's go firstly on the free-to-air ratings, and we've got a new one because it was a one-off, the World Cup. Yeah, isn't it great to see that?
Yeah, World Cup.
This is the World Cup. Chile versus Australia.
Number 2, 5th biggest show ever for SBS. Yeah, it was great to get up there. 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Not many shows that time of day ever make the top 10, but we can prove you can get into the top 10 after we've spoken last week about do they broadcast any other show.
Flip to the other page and you've got the rounding out the top 10 sneak peek, the Big Bang Theory.
Voice Kids getting on there before it actually launches, so yeah, it doesn't launch till Sunday night, I think it is.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that little sneak peek.
All right, snuck in there. We will whip through to the subscription television ratings, top 5 for sport.
Yeah, top 2 AFL, bit of NRL, and then that rugby union test, Australia versus France, third one coming up this weekend. Okay,
good stuff. And then the non-sport, hardly a surprise.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. That was the penultimate episode. We'll see how the final went in next week's chart, Brooke.
Yep, that was, of course, a big one. Record audiences, I understand, James, for Australia and the US.
Yeah, absolutely. About 300,000 on the Monday here, but I think Foxtel, when they screen it right across the rig, probably end up with about 500,000. Big business for HBO in the US, over 7 million watched it, that final episode. They showed it a couple more times on the Sunday evening, got to over 9 million people, so most watched program ever on HBO.
Yeah, plus the pirated kind of viewing as well, which is the other discussion that's gone on this week, I think, too. Yeah. World Cup, though, just going back to those ratings, I mean, that's the early signs. We haven't got all the latest signs yet. We've just had another big game.
The match figures, I think SBS would be very happy with, you know, especially given that it's, you know, 2 a.m, 4 a.m. 8 a.m, you know, they're when the games start. Some of the supporting programming, not doing that well. I mean, SBS it's good that they can support these other shows, but we might see those numbers increase as we get down to the final 16, you know, the last 8, the last 4. People will want to watch those analysis shows to really get some insight into what's happening. That's where the hardcore fans will come out, and those numbers might creep up a little bit.
Now, there's a Gallipoli project underway at Foxtel. They've commenced filming, I understand.
They have.
Tell us a bit about it and also who's starring in it.
Yep, but what's the one? Sam Worthington's involved. He's also starring in it, but his production company, Full Clip, is one of the partners in this. Also, Matchbox Pictures started filming in South Australia over this week, as well as Sam. You've got Rachel Griffiths, Brian Brown, and Hugh Dancy starring in that too. We'll see that presumably around Anzac Day in 2015.
And just looking at some of the moves in free-to-air news this week, you've had 9 Adelaide takes 10's news director. You've got
Jeremy
9
Putney there moved across because, you know, 9's investing big time in their news in Adelaide, and they certainly want to pump that up. And getting a good person's good, but taking away from the opposition's a
even better. Yeah, Brisbane as well. There's an expansion there.
Yeah, Ipswich Bureau for 9, so they're spreading out the seat as a bit. You know, they've got it's an area they really need to cover. That sort of west of Brisbane.
And speaking of west, you got 9 Perth News. The ratings are up.
Yeah, well, they made a bit of noise about this week. It still trails 7 by a very long way, so you've got to. That's the context to review it in. But then again, it's good news for the troops there that they're going in the right direction, but still plenty of work to do.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much, James. Always good to do Media Week with you. Thank you, James Manning, publisher and editor of Media Week. And that's all we've got time for this week. But, of course, it's all on again next week. Thanks for your company.